Howdy YouTube! So today we've got some headlight restorations to do. Somebody asked for a specific video. Now I've done these a couple of times before, but let's do another one. So as you can see here, I've got my mate's Volkswagen Golf in here. It had one of those bonnet protectors on it and it had those headlight protectors too, but underneath both of them, they were yellowed as well. I would actually be recommending him to leave that and the headlight protectors off. We get a nice coat of clear coat over these. But yeah, look, there's a few things to know when you do these. Make sure you put a couple of rows of masking tape around here for when you're doing the orbital sanding. But look, let's not muck around. Let's just get stuck straight into it. If 800 is going to be enough, we'll stick with 800 grit. But we might need to go with something a little bit coarser. I might give it a quick buzz with some 500 first. So we're just looking for getting rid of the yellowing. And there's actually like a top layer that we've got to try and get rid of here. Looking pretty good. As I say, that's 500 grit. I hit it with first. But look, there may be some times that you need to even hit that with something coarser, depending on the exact headlight that you're using and how hard that top layer is. So yeah, you can see that's starting to clog up. We'll get a new one, new bit of 500 here. That's what was causing our problem. From here, we just need to go down through the grades. I'm just going to hit it with 800 dry second. So 500 first. You want to go out to this guy. So we'll hit it with some 800 next. There we go. 800. Them off with some wet sandpaper. Got a little box of tricks over here. Sandpapers that I've accumulated over the years. Oh, 1200, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. And then I need a bit of water. This is actually alcohol mixed with water. It's like a methylated spirits, but it will do. So it really is a quite straightforward procedure, to be honest. Just first off, you get rid of that yellow layer with, as I say, whatever sandpaper grit you need. Like there may even be some instances you need to go a bit coarser, like 320, possibly even 240. I probably wouldn't go anything coarser than 240, and even then only that if you need to, if you absolutely need to. As you saw here, 500 grit was enough. 800 grit nearly did it, but I was going to start burning through a few extra discs. You know, I would have used more 800 grits than if I just hit it quickly with 500 and then went over the top with 800. Give that a wipe down, and that's basically ready to mask and shoot some clear over the top. You may notice I've got a bigger job at hand here as well, so it's not just this. So I'm going to leave that like that while I go on with the rest of the job. But yeah, I have found it important to use this step 1200 grit. If you go any coarser than 1200 grit, sometimes you can see the sanding grit scratches. And if you go any finer, then you run the risk of it not sticking, because the sanding scratches are too small for the clear coat to bond to. You could even get yourself an aerosol can, but as I say, I've got like a bigger job here at hand, so I'm gonna paint the rest of the car, keep them masked up. When I'm ready to clear, I'll just peel some paper off and clear them at the same time. But as I say, if you're doing this from home and you don't have a compressor, you don't have all the gear that I've got, you could even use like something like this for masking. Go down to Super Cheap Auto, get yourself a can of acrylic clear, and you'd have them looking, you know, pretty damn good. Like, they might not be as good as if you do it with your 2-pack clear. One other thing to keep in mind, don't use plastic primer. I've done it before and it reacts with the headlights in a bad way. It makes them sort of craze or crack and separate. So just straight over the top of that with the clear coat. So it really is a pretty straightforward job. You don't even have to get that excessive with your masking. If you're spraying 2-pack, you probably would want to at least cover half of it. But as I mentioned, if you're doing it from home and you want to do it on the cheap, you know, go get yourself a 1K clear coat can or an acrylic clear coat can. You'll probably only have to mask, say, 1 meter, or let's just say 2 sheets of newspaper if you decide to go that route, because the 1K clear coats, they actually dry really quick. So they actually can dry in the air. So for starters, you're using a aerosol can. The overspray is not going to be very high in the first place, but because they dry so fast, they'll actually dry in the air. And even if it does land on your car, it's not going to still be wet when it lands on there. So it's not going to be hard to get it off. It's literally just going to dry before it hits the panel and then just land on the panel as a bit of dust, which will just wipe off the next time you wipe it or wash it. So yeah, next thing, as you saw, I'm giving it a wipe down with some wax and grease remover or Prep-Sol. You may not have to do that, but again, you'll probably find you can get like a small aerosol can of wax and grease remover down at something like Super Cheap Auto. But for me, as I'm doing here, as you notice, I've got a bigger job at hand, and it's literally that easy. Once you've got all your masking done, bang, bang, 2 coats of clear, and that's it. Allow it to dry. There's a quick before and after, and isn't that a massive difference? It's something that pretty much anyone who's half handy should be able to figure out. So it really is a very basic procedure. Anyway, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out.